salt air on your face, gulls above Elliott Bay, mountains holding the horizon like a cutout. 4 days in Seattle move fast if you set the beats right. Markets and piers in the morning, glass and steel by afternoon, neighborhoods with their own rhythm at night. What follows? Season windows that actually help, transit moves that shave time, and sequences that trade standing in line for seeing the city. When to go? Spring wakes the streets and campus quads with cherry and dogwood. You work around showers, then duck into a museum when a band of rain parks overhead. Summer runs long and bright. Ferries layer the bay like moving postcards, and golden hour refuses to end. Fall turns clearer than people expect once Labor Day passes. Maples light up city parks and the Arboretum. Winter shortens the day but sharpens the skyline. After a front rolls through, the Olympic and Cascade Ranges look carved from white paper. You live indoors a bit more. Galleries, coffee, glass houses, then slip outside during breaks for a quick view. Getting in and around, land at sea, follow the covered walkway to Link Light Rail and roll straight downtown. Load an Orca in the app and stop thinking about fares. Trains now run north to Linwood, which makes hotel bases in the upper city practical. The monorail ties Westlake to Seattle Center in about 2 minutes. Ferries are moving viewpoints. Pay at the dock and treat them like short harbor cruises. Drive only if you're day tripping to trailheads. In the core, it slows you down. Park once and use your legs, Link, and that single elevated hop to the Needle. Where to stay? Downtown or Belltown puts you within a 10-minute walk of the market, piers, and the monorail. Lower Queen Anne, Seattle Center, works if you want the Space Needle, Chihuly, and the Arts Campus at your door. Capitol Hill trades a short Link ride for late-night food and a steady hum. Ballard is its own base. Locks, Ship Canal, Sunday Market, a sunset beach, if you want a neighborhood feel without leaving the grid. Day 1. Waterfront, Pike Place, Seattle Center. Start where the city meets the water. Walk the new Overlook Walk, the stepped park that finally stitches Pike Place Market to the rebuilt waterfront. You drop toward the piers without the old street scramble, and, from the terraces, read the harbor at a glance. Ferries sliding out, tugs pushing barges, cranes standing still against the Olympics when the air goes clear. Give the market your first hour while stalls set up. A salmon arcs over a counter and disappears into paper. Someone rings a bell. You take a warm paper bag of donuts and wander the lower levels. Antique corners, small studios, a view that opens and closes in doorways. Post Alley gives you brick and neon in one tight frame. The essential shots are cleaner from the edges than the center aisle. Step back onto the cobbles for the sign, the clock glowing over red letters, the wheel and bay tucked behind. You're here. Don't treat it like a scavenger hunt. The point is energy, not a checklist. Drop to the water. The Seattle Aquarium's Ocean Pavilion sits right where the walk lands. Even without a ticket, you can lean over the circular oculus in the public plaza and look down into the reef. A quick, weatherproof cutaway that plays well on camera. If wind rises or a shower rolls through, go in for an hour. The new volumes and rooftop walks are built for gray days. Back outside, follow the gentle slopes south along the piers. Buskers fold into ship horns. A gull steals a fry and someone laughs like it's the first time. If the sky turns hard blue and the mountain floats above the skyline, pivot before lunch and ride the elevator at Smith Tower. Brass elevator, carved wood, open-air deck. None of it feels staged. From up there, the Space Needle sits in the skyline instead of under you. Stadium roofs anchor the south end. Ferries draw bright lines across the bay. Book a timed slot, step out, take your pano, breathe, and ride down. Give Pioneer Square 10 minutes of brick and trees, Occidental Park's shade, Waterfall Garden, Park's hidden roar, then slide north again along the water. By mid-afternoon, climb to Seattle Center for the pair that still defines the postcard. Ride the Space Needle when the air steadies after lunch. The upper deck is glass to the horizon. The outside platforms give you clean frames without glare. If you want the feet over the city moment, drop to the loop and stand on the revolving glass floor for one slow turn. Step next door to Chihuly Garden and Glass. Dark galleries pull you through curve and color. The glass house throws the needle into its frame. The garden sets blown forms against green and sky. If drizzle taps the glass, flip the order. Chihuly first, then ride when the ceiling lifts. Finish with one more angle if legs allow. The monorail glides you back to Westlake. Walk 5 minutes for a last look along the new waterfront lines, or climb to Cary Park for the classic frame, the needle offset to the right, and, on luckier evenings, the mountain faint behind it. You need 5 minutes at the railing, not 30. Wind bites on that hilltop. The view does not improve with time. Keep day one simple. Park once if you brought a car. Overlook walk removes the uphill trudge and folds the market into the water. The monorail handles the jump to the center. Save the island ferry for later. The waterfront deserves its own pass while legs are fresh and the camera is still curious. Day 2. Ballard, Fremont, Gasworks, Golden Gardens. Point the morning at working water. Coffee on Ballard Avenue clears the head, then take a quiet quarter hour at Fisherman's Terminal before crowds show. This is a dock that earns its keep. Crab pots stacked taller than you, forklifts beeping, gulls angling in on bait barrels, names on sterns running from Alaska down to the Columbia. Stay aware, get your wide shot, move on. 5 minutes away, the Hiram M. Chittenden Locks put the canal on display. Start with the Carl S. English Jr. Botanical Garden, so the sound of water sneaks up on you. Then step onto the platforms and watch a full cycle. Gates swing, lines come tight, water drops. A tug and 2 sailboats sink to the lower canal and glide out. In season, dip into the fish ladder viewing room. Salmon holding in the current like kites on invisible string. It's one of the few places where infrastructure, wildlife, and gardens live in the same frame. If it's Sunday, the Ballard Farmers Market is already running down the cobbles. Flowers stacked shoulder high, buskers on corners, a fast line for shucked oysters at the curb. Go early for clean frames. Midweek, swap the market for the National Nordic Museum a few blocks off Market Street. It's bright and compact, built to explain why this neighborhood's bones are boatyards and shipwrights. 40 minutes lands well and puts you back in daylight. Late morning, turn east. The Burke-Gilman Trail runs the ship canal like a spine. Walk a stretch and feel the city relax. Cut up to the Fremont Troll under the Aurora Bridge for one quick photo. Don't linger, it reads best fast. Drop back to the canal path and follow it toward Gasworks Park. The hill gives you the city across Lake Union. The old gasification towers sit like sculpture. If wind lies down, you'll catch seaplanes skimming to a stop, spinning and lifting with the skyline behind them. If the idea of a paddled shot appeals, note the rentals in South Lake Union and save an hour late in the day when the light gets soft. Keep the afternoon flexible. If the sky stays clean, push to Golden Gardens. It's simple. Sand, drift logs, a working rail line along the seawall, and the Olympic Mountains dead ahead. When the color slides down the sky, the whole crowd goes quiet without being told. If wind bites or the ceiling drops, shift inland to Discovery Park. The loop trail is honest, forest to meadow to bluff in just under 3 miles, with sound and Olympics sliding in and out of view. Drop to the lighthouse if tides and time allow, then climb back through the trees and call it. If you want one more working water shot before dinner, circle back to the locks for a final lock-through in softer light. Deckhands move faster at the end of day. The water's edge polishes darker, and boat hulls frame themselves. Or walk a few minutes of the Burke-Gilman toward Wallingford and pick a corner cafe while bikes tick past on freewheels. Seattle runs on choices like this that don't cost time. Eat where you are. Ballard lets you do it on foot. Fremont and Wallingford give you corner rooms without parking drama. Downtown puts you near the hotels. If you want a simple nightcap that says only in Seattle, take one slow spin on the Great Wheel and step off into the smell of salt and creosote. Day 3. Hilltops, the CID, and a waterfront night. Start high on Capitol Hill while the streets are still quiet. Volunteer Park is the warm-up. Cedars, lawns, and a loop that wakes your legs. If clouds sit low, step into the Conservatory. One wing is humid with ferns and orchids. The other is all spines and angles, cactus and agave holding still for the lens. Cross the grass to the Seattle Asian Art Museum. The deco shell reads 1930s from the outside, but inside is bright and modern. An hour lands well. When you come out, climb the brick water tower stairs for a keyhole of skyline between branches. It's a short climb and a good cue to drop into the city. Slide downhill by link or bus to the Chinatown International District. Storefronts trade English with Chinese, Japanese, and Vietnamese. Markets spill fruit onto the sidewalk. Steam fogs restaurant windows. The Wing Luke Museum grounds you in neighborhood stories rather than dates on a wall. If a guided walk lines up, take it. You'll turn into courtyards you'd miss on your own and hear why they matter. Lunch is simple at Uwajimaya's food hall. A quick loop, a couple of counters, and you're back on your feet. If you want a 2-bite sweet to carry, the cream puffs nearby make clean handhelds. Pioneer Square sits 10 minutes north on foot, brick on brick. Iron beams, maples over a broad plaza. Take a quiet lap through Occidental Park. If drizzle starts, the Klondike Gold Rush Visitor Center explains why these streets look the way they do. Seattle raised parts of downtown after early floods and fires. Some of the old sidewalks still run under your shoes. If that thread grabs you, the underground tour turns it into one story. Steps down, glass squares glowing in the ceiling, the odd feeling of standing where daylight used to be. If schedules line up and the team is out of town, a T-Mobile Park tour walks you from dugout to press box and back. If it doesn't, head south instead to the Museum of Flight. The approach is industrial, and then the scale snaps into view. A Concorde rests under a canopy. The first 747 looms over the lineup. There's a 787 you can walk through, and a jet that served as Air Force One parked with its stairs down like it's waiting for a call. You can do the outdoor pavilion and one interior gallery without burning the day. By late afternoon, you want water again. The West Seattle water taxi is the easy skyline. 10 minutes across Elliott Bay, a flat promenade along Alki, and the towers warming up behind the wheel when you ride back. If you'd rather stay central, climb the new Overlook Walk above the rebuilt piers. Ramps and terraces carry you from the market front deck to the aquarium plaza with clean views the whole way. As dusk hits, stand over the Ocean Pavilion's circular window and watch fish move through blue light without scanning a ticket. When the Great Wheel lights its spokes and a ferry crosses in front of the city, let the shot breathe. No narration needed. Keep the moves on transit where you can. Capitol Hill to the CID is one link stop. Pioneer Square is one more. If you booked a tour or timed entry, build the day around it so you're not sprinting between doors. If traffic looks thick on the way back from the museum, eat near where you land and save your legs for tomorrow. Today is 3 scales. Quiet rooms under trees, tight streets with steam and neon, wide frames over water. Hit each once and you're done. Day 4. Island calm or volcano country. Pick one plan and give it the whole day. A ferry across the bay resets the pulse without leaving town. A drive to Rainier stretches the frame until the mountain fills it. For the island close, walk aboard an early Bainbridge boat. Coffee on the bow buys you a moving skyline and, on a clear morning, the mountain floating behind it. The crossing runs about half an hour. Winslow sits right at the terminal with cafes and small shops stacked close together, but hold that for later. Drive straight to Bloedel Reserve while the paths are quiet. Timed entry keeps the loop calm. You move from deep forest to a footbridge over mirrored water, then out to meadows and an old estate house on its rise. 90 minutes to 2 hours lets it work. When you're ready for open water, choose sand or a city view. Bainbridge Park lays out a long strip of beach and a line of driftwood, with the Olympic Mountains across the sound when the air is clear. Eagle Harbor viewpoints flip the angle. Ferries slide in and out with the skyline stacked behind them. If the day stays gray, trade sand for the Bainbridge Island Museum of Art near the terminal. It's free to enter, polished without feeling stiff, and easy to do in under an hour. Lunch in Winslow keeps the rhythm simple. Walk the core, grab a table, then drift through the bookstore and the glass studio before the return sailing. Back in Seattle by mid-afternoon, Wander the terraces above the piers one last time. No need to chase another ticket. The public decks do the job. For the Mountain Big Frame, set alarms and roll before breakfast. Point the car to the White River entrance and climb to Sunrise, the highest drivable point on Mount Rainier. In peak months, the park may manage arrivals on this corridor during the day. Check the current rule, book a window if required, and arrive inside it. The road winds through fir and hemlock, and then the trees fall away. Meadows lift toward rock. When the pavement levels and the peak fills the windshield, you've arrived. Keep hike's view first and honest. Shadow Lake is the quick win, a short out and back to water held in a bowl. Sourdough Ridge walks a clean skyline with the summit close and the Cascades falling away to the east. If you want one bigger push, take the trail toward First or Second Burrows. The ground turns to alpine tundra, and the snowfields feel close enough to touch. Turn on the clock you set at the car, not on wishful thinking. Pack a warm layer even when the valley feels hot. Wind off the ice changes the math. Sun at elevation takes more than you expect. Carry water. At some point, stop talking and listen. Small cracking sounds carry across the glacier when the air is still. If sunrise closes earlier than you hoped, or clouds sit on the summit and refuse to move, pivot rather than wait it out. Drive to Paradise on the south side and collect meadows and mountain in a shorter loop. Myrtle Falls gives you a clean composition in minutes. Nisqually Vista looks across a broken river of ice toward the headwall. The point is to see the volcano. If the peak disappears, don't spend hours hoping. Call the audible and head back to water. When rain takes the day from the start, keep it inside the city and make it about green water and quiet paths. The University of Washington's Waterfront Activities Center rents canoes and kayaks in season. You launch into a reed-lined channel, glide under a low road bridge, and slide into sheltered water in the Arboretum. Herons hold statuesque in the shallows. Ducks carve small wakes through floating leaves. On still mornings, the surface turns to glass and paddles mark time with soft clicks. 2 hours here resets everything. Back on land, walk Azalea Way if spring is lit, or save your steps for Kubota Garden in the south end. It's free, open daily, and tuned to slow people down. Paths bend around ponds and between stones. In fall, maples hang like lanterns over water. In winter, cascades make their own music and carry you out calmer than you came in. End without a rush. On Bainbridge, be on deck for the return and watch the towers grow a floor at a time. On Rainier, leave enough daylight for the descent so switchbacks stay switchbacks and not guesses. In the city, climb a flight along the terraces above the piers and stand where you began. Mark it up the hill, water under you, ferries tracing bright lines through the dusk. 4 days won't show everything. They will show how it fits. Waterfront to market, market to the center. Neighborhoods linked by rail, path, and canal, an island to exhale. A volcano when the sky allows. Keep the moves simple. Walk what can be walked. Ride the lines that save time. Book the one slot and let the rest flex with the weather. Now you've got the map.